So brokering has never and will never work for seed rounds. Seed brokers come and go, right? I've seen over the years many seed brokers come to me. There's a brilliant opportunity. The brokering industry at seed level rounds doesn't exist. There's very little support there. I'm going to launch a new service for pre-seed and seed founders and help them broker their deals. They come and go, like I say. Every 6 months there's someone new contacts me and says they're setting this up. Now 6 months following that, they've changed their strategy. They're only working with Series A plus founders, and that's because they've realized in those 6 months it's just as much, if not more, work to raise pre-seed and seed capital than it is Series A, and their 2% or 3% share of the deal on a 200k round is vastly different than that on a £2 million round. So very quickly they learn that brokering doesn't work, it will never work, and they move themselves into that Series A plus category. We've seen countless platforms launch as well to try and connect founders with investors, but again, they rarely work because angels don't tend to update their profiles on these platforms, and therefore you never really know exactly what they're looking for, whether or not they get the notifications. They're not actively engaging in these platforms. What does work is dealing directly with angel investors, founders contacting angel investors directly. That's what works. That's what angels want. They want to deal directly with you, the founder. They don't want to deal with a third party, and they don't want to try and find you through a platform, and they don't want to be signed up to countless platforms where they need to keep their profile updated. So why do angels want to deal directly with you, the founder? Well, because your ability to raise capital is an absolutely fundamental skill set for you as a founder. They want to invest in a founder that knows how to raise capital. It's a killer skill set for any founder, because if you can raise it once, you can raise it again. And especially investors investing at a pre-seed and seed stage, they want to know that they're backing a founder that has the ability to raise capital. So they want to deal directly with you. They want to see you managing the process. So you need to spend your time building your investor network, creating investor target lists. Now this stuff is time consuming. You've got millions of other things to be doing, like building your product, adopting your first customers and onboarding them, all of these things that you have to do as a founder. But fundraising, unfortunately, is not something you can outsource. It's not something you can cut corners with. It's not something where you can bring someone in to do it for you. Certainly not at that pre-seed and seed stage. So there are ways though for you as a founder to make your life easier and increase your chances of success. You can work with people who will give you support and guidance, give you a campaign playbook to follow to make sure that you have the stepping stones in place to take your idea from concept and your documentation all the way through to closing the round, going through the necessary steps you need to do to create demand from investors. And you can outsource some of the laborious tasks. You can get someone to do some investor research and create your investor target list for you. You can even get someone to do the email outreach on your behalf as a ghostwriter. They'll draft effective email marketing campaigns and they'll email people out as a personalized message from you that you've signed off and approved. So you can get people to do some of the heavy lifting for you, but you shouldn't be outsourcing the full management of the campaign to a broker. The other thing you could do is you can seek investor introductions through professional introducers, or you can seek investor introductions through your network. These are all legitimate activities, but they're not you outsourcing the round to somebody else. And this means that an angel investor can see that you are capable of managing a round using strategies to bring investors to the table. So you have to take full responsibility of driving that campaign forward, dealing with those investors once the people you've had support you help you bring them to the table. You need to deal with them throughout the various steps. You need to close the deal with them. You need to manage that campaign and take full responsibility for it. As many founders say, this is a full-time job on top of your full-time job as a founder. It does get easier with time. The more rounds you raise, the easier it gets. Founders who are on their second or third startup find their first round of funding a lot quicker than those who are in their first ever startup, and also your second and third rounds of funding become much quicker to close than you would in your first round. So don't use brokers, don't look to use brokers in the pre-seed and seed stage, but you can start using them from Series A plus when you've got a bigger team, a bigger pot of cash to leverage, and you've got more responsibilities, and therefore outsourcing your round might make more sense. So I hope that's helpful. Take full responsibility of your round, work with advisors on how to create a campaign playback book or follow up a campaign playbook that works so that you can bring the right investors into your business.